welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be sharing a fall get it all done video. This weekend was super hectic and there was lots of things going on, so I thought that I would bring you guys through everything on my to-do list to give you a little bit of motivation. Come hang out with me and let's cross some things off of our to-do list together. So a bunch of things happened this weekend. One of my best friends got married, so I actually made their little wedding cake. It wasn't anything crazy, but it was super fun, so I'll walk you through that. Had schoolwork to do, some cleaning, and I also have a little bit of a sneak peek of a project, a sort of renovation makeover project that I'm going to be sharing with you guys, so I'm excited to talk about that with you a little bit, and just a bunch of random errands. So if you like this video, make sure that you give a thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe for new videos. Every single week I have Christmas content that's actually coming super soon. It's crazy to think that we are already here. And if you're cleaning with me today, crossing off some things on your to-do list, let me know in the comments down below. But I think that is everything. Let's go ahead and get started. First things first, for my friend's wedding, I did need to hem my dress. I purchased this probably in February or March of this year, and I ended up altering it or hemming it just a couple days before the wedding. So definitely was putting this off, and it was high on my to-do list, so I just got to work. This dress was actually really long. I feel like I never have this problem. I ended up taking about 6.5 inches off of it. I think it was supposed to be one of those more midi style dresses, but for me I felt like it really wasn't giving me any shape, and I just thought it'd look a lot better shorter, and I definitely think that it made a huge difference. So the weekend before, I cut off the 6 inches, and now I'm just sewing the under layer and the top layer so that they are the correct length. Now we're going to get started on the wedding cake. So at my friend's wedding, they had desserts for all the guests, and they also had a smaller wedding cake for just the two of them. So I was enlisted to make the cake. I love to bake, as you guys may be able to tell. So of course I said yes, and it was just super fun to make. So they wanted a salted caramel flavor, so that's exactly what I did. I'll leave the exact recipe that I followed in the description box down below in case you want to make it. From what I've heard, it was really good. This is a full gluten cake since I wasn't going to be consuming any of this. Therefore, I wasn't able to try it or see if it met my standards, but one of my sisters just took a little sample and she said that it tasted good. So I'll leave that in the description box down below. I ended up making this cake the day before the wedding. I got out of work at around 4, and this is me right when I got home from work. I wanted to get the cakes in the oven, that way they had plenty of time to cool, because that was the main thing. I needed to ice this cake and make sure it was nice and cooled for the next day. Another thing I had to do before the actual wedding day was wrap up their wedding gift. A couple of my friends and I went in on this gift, and I had to wrap it up and get it all set. So it actually worked out nicely as I was waiting for those cakes to cool off before I could move them into the freezer to fully cool. And lately I've been loving really simple wrapping. I have this craft paper that I actually got a long time ago, and I never thought I was going to use it for wrapping, but I feel like it just looks super classic, nice and neutral, and just very simple and elegant. And then I just made a little card and tied it around with some twine, put a little bow on top, and that was basically it. After the gift was ready to go, I started working on my icing. At this point, I put the cakes downstairs in our freezer. After they had cooled about 90% of the way, I didn't want to put hot cakes into a freezer. So I'm just going to be making a super simple buttercream. Whenever I make buttercream, I never measure things. I usually just go by taste. Because I knew this is going to be a pretty big cake, I just softened a couple sticks of butter, and I actually ended up having to make a second batch of about a stick and a half more. And I added in some vanilla extract, some powdered sugar, as well as a bit of salt to balance out the sweetness. And I just went for a normal white vanilla buttercream. I thought it would be really classic, and my friend had this really cute custom cake topper that was put on top, and I just thought it went with the elegant, very simplistic feel. And I just whipped up the icing until it was nice and fluffy, nice and airy, and also bright white. Making your own buttercream when you are making your own cakes or decorating your own cakes, I feel like is imperative, because I feel like it just has a lot more structural stability, and of course it just tastes better and is easy to make. Now it's time to start assembling our cakes. When I flip them out of the pans, I purposefully put the top down, that way they would naturally flatten so I wouldn't need to level the tops. Normally, if you have cakes that have really big domes on top, you should cut those off because your cakes will just stack better together. So with the recipe that I used, I think it was intended for larger cakes. So my cakes came out to be pretty tall, which is why I ended up cutting them in half. And I actually really liked that this happened because I felt like it made the cake a little bit taller. And when they cut into it at the reception, it was just really fun to see all the layers. And it gave me more of an opportunity to fill more caramel inside. That way the flavor was very pronounced. So I put the cake plate on a turntable, put my first layer down, added a thin layer of icing on the bottom, put a fence of icing all around, and put caramel in the middle to sort of be held in that cavity. And I basically repeated this for the whole entire cake. And once I get to the top, you'll see that I flip my layer upside down. That way the part of the cake that was touching the bottom of the pan is face up, and that's just going to give us a very smooth, straight top. And it really just makes it look a lot more professional and clean. So after I put the crumb coat all over this cake, which by the way I found to be very imperative because this was a very crumbly cake, especially since I had to cut it in half. But once that was done, I did pop it in the freezer for about 30 to 45 minutes. That way it was nice and set up and I didn't need to worry about any crumbs getting in my icing. And of course, once the icing hardens, it sort of held everything together. For the outside of this cake, I kept it super simple. I wanted to do this really fun scalloped detail. Again, I just thought it'd look super elegant, and it also was really easy to do, and it gives a really clean, professional look, even though it doesn't take that much effort. So as you can see, I'm just taking my buttercream in a piping bag and making dollops all the way up in a vertical line, and then I just take my offset spatula and sort of swipe each one to the side. And then as I go in with my next row, I slightly go over the previous row just to blend everything together, and this turned out super well. It was a bit hard to sort of blend the end rows together, but I just thought it turned out so well. It covered up the crumb coat entirely and just gave a really fun aesthetic look. Now that our cake is all set to go, it is a couple days later and I'm going to be getting a few admin things done. I have some homework to do. I had a bunch of DVDs to burn wedding videos onto, flash drives to put photos on, and just all sorts of things. So I'm going to be doing a little bit of that. Another thing that was special about this weekend was that we had a little bit of a fall break. So I found this to be a perfect opportunity to get caught up and get as many sessions and videos edited as I could. Alright, we're going to take a mini break from all of the cleaning, homework, everything like that to show you guys my latest Facebook marketplace find. So as you can see, we're in my craft room. It's pretty messy right now because I was doing my dress and everything over there, but I kind of want to give this room a little bit of a facelift, a little bit of a refresh. It's really just a matter of when I can do this because, as you guys know, I'm in school. So at the latest, I'm thinking like over my Christmas break, that would be ideal. But first things first, I really wanted to get something different to replace this table. It is well loved. It is super old. I don't really remember where it came from, but it did serve its purpose for sure. So I wanted to get something a little bit classier, and I found this set of 2 on Marketplace. They are completely brand new. This one is a little bit, like the chair is a little bit not my style because of the little diamonds in them, but I think they look really nice, and it is brand new. Like, it is so pretty and classic. And then this desk, and it has some storage in it as well. And this is actually like a reflective surface. You can sort of see the finish on it. So I feel like this is going to be perfect for doing all my crafts and things because I can actually wash it and like clean it. And I'm thinking it's gonna go right where this table goes. We're gonna paint the walls. We're going to take this down, fill in all the holes, paint, pretty much take everything down over here. And we are going to do some things to this side of the room as well. So stay tuned for that little mini makeover. I think it's gonna feel so much better in here and so much more my style. You guys know my style has changed a lot, and I feel like already this is giving a really good vibe. And also, if you haven't been watching recent videos of my craft room, my dad does work in here whenever he works from home, so this is also going to be part of the setup. So let's go ahead and get back to my to-do list. Now it is time for a little bit of baking. This wasn't on my list. There were a couple things on my list that we didn't get to, such as the flea market, and I also wanted to clean out my backpack, but that just really didn't happen. We had such a jam-packed weekend, and I just wanted to make a super simple treat. And of course, I was in the fall mood, so I went for this pumpkin bread baking mix from Trader Joe's. I picked this up in a recent vlog, so if you haven't seen that, I will also have that linked down below. But I just made half of the box, so I put all of my measurements and ingredients in half, and this made the perfect amount of muffins. It just made 8 normal sized muffins, and I also chopped up some walnuts as well as some mini chocolate chips just to make it super texture forward. For me, sometimes I'm in the mood for a plain soft muffin, but there are days like these where I really love to just add in all kinds of different things just to give it a lot of texture. And honestly, walnuts paired with any sort of dessert is always so good, and I also added a few of them on top just to sort of act as a crumble, which I thought was delicious. So overall, if you haven't tried this mix, I would highly recommend it, especially if you live near a Trader Joe's. I would definitely consider picking this up, and it's also gluten-free, so that's also a bonus. That is the end of today's Get It All Done video. I really hope you enjoyed it. Like I said, it was a crazy, hectic weekend, so I hope that you enjoyed getting all the things done with me that I need to get done. I hope that I motivated you a little bit today to cross some things off of your to-do list. And as per usual, we didn't get to everything, but I don't think that that's expected. Whenever I do these videos, it's really just me trying to stay productive and stay caught up with everything that I need to do as a student, business owner, everything in between. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Give it a thumbs up if you did. Subscribe down below for new videos every single week. Again, Christmas content is on its way, and I'm super excited to start sharing that with you guys. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed today's video, got a little bit of motivation, and hung out with me a bit today. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you're having a wonderful day, and I will see you in my next video. Bye, guys.